What's up, guys? Nisafel here. Today we're discussing on if the Green Bay Packers can make the playoffs. Now, we're discussing if the Green Bay Packers can make the playoffs more than any other team because they got a sensational quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? Um, we would be discussing the same thing in Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers if their division wasn't so trash, because they're actually going to make the playoffs, even though they're the same record as the Packers. So unfortunate for the Packers, fortunate for the Bucks. Uh, but yeah, in their division they got the Minnesota Vikings, via right here, and we could just get a look at the NFC North. The Vikings, they're 12-3, right? They're locked in the division. They're gonna be in the playoffs. Lions, Packers. They're This is also another team people are talking about that could make the playoffs. The Lions, but unfortunately, they're not as high in my list to make the playoffs because Jared Goff is their QB. And yes, he's played all right, but if it's not Jared Goff, it's gonna be the Lions defense. All right, that's what I'm saying. Okay. But yeah, I think the Packers have a chance, more of a chance than the Lions. If you they look at the next two games, because there is two games left. It's against the Vikings, like we talked about. Very good team, 12-3. They're 11-0 in one-score games, so the Packers are either have to blow them out or win by two scores. Um, so yeah, and then they got the Lions. So both of them are in the division. Both of them are very vital. If they lose, I think they're out. If not, there's this very tiny, tiny, tiny chance, but that's probably not going to happen. So it's basically you got to win out or you're done. So yeah, they need for okay. Well, if they win out, they also need a little bit of help, which seems very likely to happen. Like this past weekend, the Packers have gotten a lot that they wanted. They need one more Commanders loss or for the Giants to lose out in the last two games. So yeah, that's all they need. They already got their Seahawks loss, so yeah, Commanders, they need to lose one more game, and if you look at the schedule, that's very possible. They got the Cowboys in the last week. So yeah, unless they bench all their starters, I think the Commanders are going to lose to the Cowboys. Browns, there's a chance, but not really. So yeah, but tomorrow, uh, I'm recording this at New Year's Eve, so I will not know. This video might go out like next week, so I have no idea if they beat the Vikings. If they beat the Vikings, the Packers, then they have a really, like in my books, they have a really good chance. Because if they beat the Minnesota Vikings, who are a very good team, then I think they'll beat the Lions. I think the momentum after beating the Vikings will be sensational. They'll be like, yes, we beat the Vikings. Now we stay home again. By the way, Packers are at home for this, so they're in Lambeau Field. So it's gonna be cold because this is in Green Bay. So the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions have to come to them. So I think that helps the Green Bay Packers a lot. I always strike the Packers as a home team, like a truly like a home team, like they win at home a lot. So yeah, but yeah, Minnesota Vikings. It's hard to say that the Packers can beat the Minnesota Vikings after what happened in Week One. Justin Jefferson going out hot. I remember he scored 34, no, 39 fantasy points. I was like, wow. And watching that game, he got like 184 yards, two touchdowns. So yeah, he went off. So unless the Packers can contain Justin Jefferson, they have no hope. Justin Jefferson's been insane this year. That was not a fluke at the beginning of the year. Like Jair is saying, it's a fluke. It's not. He needs 200 more yards to break either I forget who, but someone's record. Calvin Johnson or Randy Moss's record for most yards in a season, something like that. So if he's close to being that, it ain't a fluke. And Jair Alexander and that Packers defense is gonna have to lock him up. And if they don't, then the Packers stand no chance because the Packers offense, they still do make mistakes. They're a young rookie team uh, on offense with especially with the receivers. So there's gonna be mistakes being made always when you got rookies. So you either stop the Vikings offense or the Green Bay offense goes crazy, and the Vikings defense ain't special. Packers, they have potential to be special, but they've been underwhelming this year. So if the Packers defense don't shut down Justin Jefferson and force Kirk Cousins to throw the ball elsewhere, you know, If they put Kirk Cousins under pressure, I believe the Packers have a good chance of winning. But because Kirk Cousins is a liability on the Minnesota Vikings, in my opinion. When you if you got Justin Jefferson, then obviously it makes Kirk's job a lot easier and his mistakes minimal. But if they put pressure on Kirk Cousins, I do believe the Packers can win it. But they need to shut down Justin Jefferson and then pressure Kirk Cousins. That's the two things you need to do to stop the Vikings offense. Because the Vikings are not a defensive team. They're not. And I do believe that Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers couldn't score uh, some points on this Vikings defense. So yeah, in my opinion, it's gonna be a very hard game. In my personally, I think the Vikings have more of a chance to win. I know the Packers are projected to win, which is a little bit crazy. I don't know how Vegas works like that. I know the Packers are on a momentum streak, but the Vikings are 11-0 in one score games, and nobody sees the Packers as a team like the Cowboys that'll blow them out. To be fair, the Packers have beaten the Cowboys, but are the Packers really going to blow the Vikings out? The Packers make too many mistakes to blow someone out. You know what I mean? So yeah. And then about the Lions, if the Packers beat the Lions, then I do believe, or if the Packers beat the Vikings, I do believe they'll beat the Lions. That momentum, running after beating the Vikings, are like, yeah, we're on a four-game winning streak after beating the Minnesota Vikings. We're gonna beat the Lions, yada yada, just like that. And I do believe the Commanders will lose one more game, against the Cowboys. I don't know about the Browns, but to be fair, they are starting Carson Wentz, so that gives them more of a chance to lose to the Browns and the Cowboys. So yeah, Commanders are really helping out the Packers, but the Packers have to help themselves and win these two games. I do believe the Vikings have more of a chance to win against the Packers, but if the Packers pull out a win tomorrow, by the time this video go out, it'll be after the game. So by that point, we might do an update video. Who knows? But yeah, Packers beat the Vikings. I think they make the playoffs. If they don't, they got Jordan Love to start against the Lions. So yeah, that's really all I gotta say. Um, the Vikings are just a big threat, and if they can beat them, I think it's gonna be a big morale boost for them. But yeah, well, let me know what you guys think about the Packers. Up and down year for them. But yeah, great year for the Vikings, up and down year for the Packers. It's weird to see this, but yeah, weird NFL season. But yeah, peace, guys. Bye.